Welcome back to Chai Chaos and Clarity, where we talk about all things nostalgic, relatable, and a little bit chaotic. My name's Fahim.
And I'm Alicia. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's to do with all of us, really. Um, the idea of pretending that we're okay and we're actually struggling on the inside. It's that typical thing about, saying I'm fine when you're actually not. Um, so perhaps we should talk about why I'm fine is the biggest lie that we could tell. And Well, Farheen, is that something that you automatically say on a normal day so that you don't have to tell people how you're actually feeling and why?
Guilty. I am guilty of that. I have done it. I think for me personally, I think it's an easier option, an easier
Yeah,
answer than to go into detail about how I'm feeling. It's like literally like I think not just me, a lot of us, we just wear a mask and walk around saying,
absolutely.
oh, we're good, we're fine, I'm fine, or I'm good, whatever. Even when our mind is like literally like racing, I might have a million tabs open, and so much of my brain is preoccupied, but that I'm good, that I'm fine, just so I don't need to go into detail and I can block it out for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It's like having 20 tabs open.
Yeah.
You've got like a family tab, you've got a friends tab,
Look, so
you've got a
many.
work tab. I
It's like all
mean,
your wires being crisscrossed in your brain. Like, and then there's always that sort of, don't you think, Alicia, there's like this social pressure that we built in the term of culture, where being
yeah,
fine feels safer than being honest about your feelings.
of course, because you're worried about so many different things. You're worried about being a burden to other people. You're
Mm,
worried about, well, into you mentioned culture, that
yeah,
too, about its family slash cultural conditioning, where you don't talk about what's going on with you, you just get on with it,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Um, there's also, I mean, I don't know how people are, some people make friends at work, so in a work setting
Mm,
you would also that word burdening comes in again. You don't want to burden other people with your problems, or
yeah,
even if it, no matter how big or small.
yeah.
And you just think you're bothering everyone, and you just want to seem
Mm.
like that person who's always put together. You know?
Yeah, and that's
Um,
like work setting, right? I mean, people are doing that with their husbands or their spouses, partners, family, friends. Even that sometimes, I've come across people that, oh, I can't tell my husband, it's just too much for him. Or, I just don't want, he's already
Absolutely.
stressed. And, in
Yeah.
my mind, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, all right, I understand that sentiment. I do understand it. But if you're not going to talk to each other, your partners in crime, your life partners, if you can't tell each other stuff, then, there's always something missing.
Of course.
But what I've also noticed in like there's a lot of modern overwhelming feelings going on, especially
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
younger generations are picking up on,
Hmm.
because I feel like for them, especially with social media, there's so much that's been shown on it that people feel
Of
like
course.
admitting that they're struggling feels like they're falling behind and they can't keep
Of
up with
course.
it.
It feels weak.
Mm,
Again, the word burdening is going to come up quite a lot here. You just don't feel, you feel like you should look like you're put together.
yeah.
Um, but ultimately, what it's doing is it's creating a whole lot of overstimulation, overthinking, um, and it can damage a lot of relationships with other people and with yourself, to be honest.
Mm,
And it could create a lot of burnout, to be honest, because
yeah.
that's tied in with the whole overthinking, anxiety, etc.
Yeah.
Because you're going through this stuff on your own, um, and not finding any ways to deal. Not That's not to say that talking with someone will cause a solution, bring a
Mm,
solution. It
yeah.
might do if you talk to the right person,
Yeah.
but it can be very lonely and quite frustrating,
Yeah.
personally. Um,
Yeah.
you
And to
know,
me, why, like, when they say, like, oh, how's your holidays, for example, like, like when we go back to school or, whatever it is, and how was your holidays? Oh, yeah, super busy. Like, I think that's become such a personality trait that if you're
Mhm.
not busy, you're just seen as you're not doing enough. So you have
Yeah,
to put in the fact that even if you're overwhelmed, oh, I'm busy, is of saying, no, you know what? I've had a relaxing holidays. I did nothing for 2 days, or I slept for two
absolutely.
days. But no one's gonna say that because I just feel like it's
It's
that,
kind of hard to say
yeah, it's the notion of judgment as well. People are gonna
that.
judge
Hmm.
me.
I mean, to be honest, it's like I've been guilty of the same thing. I've not made stuff up for the holidays. I've considered it when I was younger,
Mm,
not when I was a kid or anything, but sometimes, and that's going to tie into the next thing I say about people not getting it. That's another excuse for not mentioning things. But um, sometimes the whole not mentioning that mentioning that you've not done anything during the holidays, you seem rather boring.
yeah,
Um, but linking into the whole people don't get it thing, that might also be a reason why people just say I'm fine, I'm good,
yeah,
because you assume and then no one else gets it. And actually we assume, although people assume we've got things put together, we assume they've got themselves put together
exactly.
and it's going to rock their
Mm,
world in a negative way.
yeah,
So again, tying in with the word burden, I did warn everyone that word would come up quite a bit.
yeah,
Um, there are so many pressures socially, and I think most of that probably comes from ourselves rather than other people. Although it can do because some people don't really want to hear what you've got to say.
yeah,
Um, you have to show that you're interested in actually how people are. And like, this is a conversation. It was a topic actually at my workplace, in training or a meeting, where when you ask someone, "How are you?" and they say, "I'm fine,"
mm,
stop and ask, actually, no, really, how are you feeling today?
yeah,
To show you actually care, not that it's just
mm,
something, a conversational cue,
yes, that's true. That
you
is so
know?
true. I mean, we
Yeah.
see people and we like in literally in our everyday life, we will see people and on their faces you can see anxiety, you can see stress, you can see that sort of overwhelmed panic mode or their
Hmm.
struggle. A lot of people show it on their faces, but when you go and ask them, they'll be like, I'm fine, but they're not. Their eyes are
Yeah.
swelling up. They
Yeah.
look like they've just had a cry or they look like they're really stressed about something. And if they're close to you, I understand like if they're strangers or people you're not very close to, you're not gonna maybe go into a detailed conversation, but there's no harm in just saying, you know what? We're all going through the same thing. Everyone's
Absolutely. Yeah.
stressed and tensed about something. It's a crazy, time and everyone's stressed. There's no family or person that can say, my life is absolutely perfect to a T.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to anyone out there listening, that's not to say you should force people to tell you what's going on with them. I've been not the person forcing, but I've been in a situation where because everyone handles things differently.
Hmm.
And I'm going to say a colleague, when she was going through something, um, she doesn't really like the whole questioning. She appreciates that you ask how she is, but
Yeah.
she won't want to talk about it at the time. She likes to go through it. And ironically, she's the person that comes to me when I'm going through something at work.
Okay.
Um, so if she sees I look down and nobody's really
Hmm.
bothered to ask me anything, and I tend to keep it to myself. Sometimes I'll look annoyed, but I won't say anything because for
Yeah.
me, I can't take my words back, so I won't say anything. And she will take me later on, and sort of give me a big cuddle, and
Yeah.
I'm not usually the typical emotional kind of person,
Hmm. The
but
bear hug.
she
You
will
get the bear hug though.
yeah, and ironic, and actually funny thing is she's quite tall. She's like
Okay.
6 foot something, so it's really nice that she's really lovely, and she appreciates when I ask her, and she feels, even when she's feeling down and I ask her how she's feeling
Yeah.
and she doesn't want to tell me, she'll apologize to me. This is,
Yeah.
again, you're putting guilt on yourself for feeling a particular way when you're allowed to feel down. It's okay to not be okay. you know and I think we all beat ourselves up a lot, this lady included,
Hmm.
for feeling, um well, not okay,
But
you
I
know?
think with that, it's that constant pressure of the expectation that is either put on us or expected of us of being present, being put together, being productive. And that I
Yeah,
think really reflects then how we show our emotions.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's it's really complicated because, as I said, people handle things differently. We have different expectations of how things should be or how things should be expressed, and I know that it's slightly away from the whole "am I okay?" but actually
Mm.
it links at the same time. Um, but we sometimes what affects us is because we are expected to react a particular way, and we don't want to be forced into reacting a particular way, so we just don't tell anybody how we're
Yeah.
actually feeling, you
Yeah.
know. And we've both been through that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Probably more myself than yourself, because you do sometimes express your feelings, and I'm not really one to.
Yeah.
So,
But it's like it's the whole like
yeah,
burnout, which is like disguised in such a way that
yeah,
people look put together, especially in today's world. And I'm going to go back to whole saying, oh, social media, because that is a big part of today's world. And,
yeah,
on there, everyone looks just so put together, so in
yeah,
place, and got this
yeah,
perfect sort of life going. And, a lot of like, maybe for us, we kind of know right and wrong and we know a little bit better, but the younger
yeah,
generations, they look up to that. They look up to social media and stuff. And then all they are doing is most of them are probably running on caffeine, panic mode, and autopilot.
yeah,
But
yeah.
on this side, they're all just perfectly put together, in every aspect.
Yes,
Perfect
yes.
mom,
But
perfect wife,
or
perfect daughter.
we assume again. There's the assumption again
Yeah,
that we're all
yeah,
put together.
yeah. And it's like
So,
then expectation we put on ourselves is like, oh,
of
so
course,
so and so's got 5 or 6 children. She looks amazing. I've only got 2 or 3, and why do I look like this? Or why am I overstressed? And why can't I just have a couple of hours of, XYZ or whatever it is? But it's that, right? Or so and so's husband is doing this. Why can't my husband do this? And it's that constant pressure then we put on ourselves, like, and then that kind of really messes with our psychology and our mind.
absolutely. So, so from there, I think that it would be a good suggestion to, well, suggest what we could possibly do as opposed to bottling things up and keeping it all to ourselves. What's the solutions, well, solutions, but or coping mechanisms, etc. Um, we could check, well, as a person expressing, we could
Mm,
change how we say things rather than
yeah.
just saying I'm fine. It could be just sit for a while, or do you mind if we don't have this conversation, or just be honest and say, listen, I don't
Mm,
feel that great today,
yeah.
you know?
Just on that, I'm
Be
just gonna say when you
Yeah,
said that, I'm just gonna say like honesty, think of it as a courage. The bravest
yeah,
thing to do is to be honest, and that's the first step to changing, what's going on in your
absolutely.
mind.
Yeah, and don't do it with a random person. Obviously, pick
No.
somebody you trust. It's all
Mm,
about trust, isn't it?
yeah.
So otherwise you just
Unless
go
it's a
right back to those
professional.
feelings. Exactly,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know,
So that's like you small clarity moments, like, because clarity doesn't come from one big change or come from the small little steps you take.
yeah, and try to not words controls wrong. Try to alter your expectations of how things should be, how
Mm,
you should express yourself, and how people should expect you to express yourself,
yeah.
or your expectations of them responding to you.
Yeah.
Um, Talk to someone who understands, who gets it, and don't expect anything to be perfect. Don't expect the way you express yourself to be perfect, or whether they can or can't give you a solution to whatever you're going through to be perfect. Sometimes just having someone listen to you helps. And that
Yeah.
goes for the person who's the listener,
Yeah.
because the pressure is on them as well to find a solution. And I know that I feel that, and I actually realized I was like that when I was doing all about the coaching.
Mm,
Um, you always feel that you need to create a solution. You're anxious to create the solution for somebody when actually the listening is help enough.
yeah.
I
And
mean, if you have a
also,
solution, fine,
yeah,
but
go on. Yeah.
no, I said it. You have a solution, it's fine, but
Yeah.
there is no pressure to have one. Just make
Mm,
sure that you listen first.
yeah. But on that note, I was just gonna say the person that's listening, so you've gone to someone, if it's someone that's fine. But if it's someone, sometimes we go to like a therapist or maybe a neighbor that we're not very close to, but we're comfortable talking to. Just bear in
Yeah,
mind, whoever you're talking to, whoever's listening to you, if you come out of there feeling even more sort of stressed or, feeling a bit horrible. Oh my God, like they made me feel 10 times worse. They're not the person. You're not talking to the right person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the other thing I was going to say is to name the feeling. Once you accept
Hmm.
what is happening, and yes, it's happening to me, but what can I do to control it or what can I do to change it? That makes such a difference. So the courage to admit it's a big game changer.
Absolutely. And I know that more than
Mm.
anybody right now. But and sometimes if you don't know how to describe how what the feeling is, sometimes you can be a bit lethargic or
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
And ambivalent even.
Mm.
Um, just it might have to be depending on the person, which is why you should go to someone who gets it. Just blurt it out. Let
Yeah,
it out. There isn't, remember, perfection isn't the aim here. It's the expression and letting someone know that you're not okay in whatever way you can,
yeah.
you
'Cause
know. Mhm.
no, I was gonna say, because I do feel that once you like name and accept it, the problem stops controlling you and you control it. So you have a better
Absolutely.
chance, obviously, shifting your whole sort of personality.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you, but
Mm.
I'm also touching on those who, because there are
Yeah,
situations where people say, how do you feel? I don't know how to explain it.
yeah.
I just, so sometimes you have that,
Mm.
and that gets more frustrating than
That, yeah,
what
it
you're actually
does.
going through.
Mm.
So if you're talking to someone you really trust,
Mm.
you could just let things out. Sometimes it might just be, sorry to anyone who might get frightened, a big old scream,
Yeah, it's true.
you know.
I've actually
Um,
given that advice to people,
yeah,
along with
or
journaling as well. If you can't
yeah,
express it,
get the
write it
punching
down.
bag. Yep, that helps. Journaling helps. Get the punching bag.
Yeah. Or if you're artistic, paint away, draw away.
Yeah,
Depends.
that's my thing.
If you're
I
if
mean,
you're
I do that
into that.
anyway, but yeah,
Mm.
being creative in any way.
Yeah.
Um, just find your sense of release. But you don't have to do that alone. And I don't know if there's
I mean,
any
even
other
going for
ways.
long walks, if you're like and if you like pets, maybe just having a pet helps as well. I know, Alicia, you're not going to agree with
Yes,
that.
that
You're not
that
a
won't
pet
help me.
person, but a lot of people are, and that really is it's a therapy for some people.
Mhm.
So, if that
So
is, you can do space wise, finance wise, or that's another option. Like there's so many things that you can actually think of doing. And it starts with simple things like maybe just stopping for 30 seconds. Take a
yes,
take a breath, just take some deep breaths, calm down and just focus on yourself for a second.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, you've said quite a lot there, haven't we?
We have given quite a few options.
Indeed. Just so a nice summary.
Mm,
Just remembering to, as Farheen said, name what you're feeling, find someone you trust to talk
yeah,
to. If you're not comfortable talking to anyone, which I hope that at some point some of you do manage to find someone to talk to,
yeah,
um, find a sense of release
yeah,
via walking, creativity, writing things down, typing it down if you're not into taking a pen to paper.
yeah.
Um,
It's okay to
Finding a nice
pause,
punch bag, of
take
course.
take a
Mhm.
couple of deep breaths.
Yeah, I think we should all do that anyway.
Yeah, we should do that
Um,
generally. And obviously depends. And all I think community matters. And when I say community, I don't mean like a big village of people around you, but the few
yeah.
people that you may even have around you, just make sure they're the right people. Guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and look after yourself.
Take care.
Bye.